Good morning, everybody. I hope you all slept through that crazy storm last night. Happy Friday. We are working on our prompt about the best thing you've learned during the COVID pandemic. So we're going to quickly go through it. So read the information in the box below. Every day was a Sunday during the COVID-19 pandemic. We talked Wednesday about how they don't literally mean every day is Sunday. They mean that, every day's the same. Think about what you've learned about yourself, your family, or the world since the start of the pandemic. Write about the best thing you have learned since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I annotated that best thing is positive. And then we did our brainstorm, which I'm really hoping everybody does. That is one of my big goals for all of you, is to actually brainstorm. And then came up with our 2 supporting details. And then we did our organizer. Now, I spoke to some of my groups about how, as far as REEF goes, you can write out REEF on the side if that helps you. Reason, explain, example, feeling, or thought. My handwriting has just gotten so big that I am doing it in little bubbles. It's up to you, but you do need to make sure that you're doing it, because I'm seeing a lot of friends just kind of freestyle and then they're not getting everything they need to have. Okay. So today is Friday, which means we are doing cups and arms. So the grammar this week I thought was awesome, the one about kangaroos, and it was all about revising. And I was really impressed that a lot of people caught that they were asking you to do arms. So editing, when we're doing editing, is cups. And revising is arms. Now, we're going to go through and we are going to fill all of this in. And I know some of you think this is silly, but you really do need to write this out every single time until you memorize it. So, capitalization, usage, and I always write subject-verb agreement there. Punctuation, spelling, and then over here, this is add, remove, move, and substitute. Okay, so let's go through the introduction, and we are looking for capitalization first. That looks okay. Excuse me, family. Can we be quiet, please? Thank you. Usage is subject-verb agreement. Pandemic has, it has, I have, people are. Okay, so all of my usage is okay in this paragraph. So I'm just gonna write down the parts that I have done. I've done C and U. Punctuation. Period. Let's stop the world altogether. Period. And then spelling. And spelling's okay there. So cups is okay in the introduction. All right, now I'm gonna go through and do the same thing for my first body paragraph. So we're starting with capitalization. People have adapted, we had to notice. All right, capitalization's good there. usage. Now, guys, I hope you're noticing that as I'm doing usage, I'm just looking at the subject and the verb in each sentence. So people is the subject, have is the verb. So people have, that's correct. We had, correct. Teachers and students jumped, correct. Break ended, we never got. We had, I am, USA was. All right, usage is all correct. Punctuation. Making sure that so I have a lot of fanboys in this piece. So, comma, but, and I don't know if any of you noticed, but when I am recording the planning, I am saying out loud, comma, but, comma, and, because that helps me remember to do it. So I think that's a really good thing for you to try. All right, punctuation looks good. Spelling, I don't think I had anything super crazy in here. The only words I didn't really know like the back of my hand were pandemic and maybe immediately. All right, cups done for that one. Okay, second body paragraph down here, people have, okay, so we're gonna start with capitalization. I'm going through the beginning of each sentence. Capital, 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 any proper nouns. All right, capitalization's good. Usage, same thing. We're gonna go check all the subjects and verbs. People have, start was, people learned, everyone found, I am, we can adapt. All right, usage is fine. Punctuation. So I'm making sure I have a period at the end of every sentence. I'm making sure I can see the period at the end of every sentence. I'm looking for my comma after for example. And that is a super light period there. Okay, and spelling. Again, this is a pretty easy essay. Circumstances is kind of a long word. So if you don't know how to spell something, you can check dictionary.com. You can ask your mom, you can ask your teacher, you can text me if you want, but find a way to look it up, okay? Okay, now I have a star at the end of this conclusion, which I said, might wanna add to it, come back to it. A lot of times if you walk away and come back, you'll notice something else. So let's see. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic has really changed our lives and routines. People have adapted to remote learning, remote working, and supply-demand changes. I'm thankful that we can adapt. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a little arrow down here because I don't have any space. Conclusion. Continued. Well, this is really arms. So I'm going to pause on that. I'm going to finish up cups. So I'm looking at capitalization, capital, 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 yes. Usage, pandemic has, people have, I am, we can, yep. Punctuation, making my periods darker so I can see them. And spelling. Again, nothing crazy. All right. So now we're going to go through arms. Now this is a little bit less paragraph by paragraph and a little bit more looking at the whole piece because arms is add, remove, move, and substitute. So when we're doing arms, guys, we're really asking ourselves, does everything in this paragraph belong in this paragraph? Should it go somewhere else? Is there anything I need to add to make this more clear? So my introduction, I feel pretty happy with. I'm not going to add or move or do anything with that. I went back to my prompt. I wrote the best thing. Yeah, write about the best thing you've learned since the start of the COVID pandemic. Best thing I've learned since the start of the COVID pandemic is people are adaptable. Yep, straight to the prompt. Okay, so I am looking down here and I'm asking myself, does everything that needs to be in this paragraph belong here? I'm seeing, sorry, that was a weird way to phrase that. This is about remote learning and working. If there's anything that's not about remote learning and working, it should be moved to a different paragraph. So I'm gonna go through and make sure that everything is on topic. So this is my topic sentence for this paragraph. People have adapted to the new normal of remote learning and working from home during the COVID-19 pandemic. We had no notice of time to prepare, but teachers and students immediately jumped into the challenge. For example, when spring break ended, we never got to go back to campus and we had to figure out Zoom and video learning really fast. I'm amazed that the entire USA was able to keep learning and working from home. So that is all on topic. That is fine. So I don't really need to add, move, remove, or substitute. And my introduction was just to the prompt, so no problem there. So let's go down to this paragraph. The second supporting detail, people have adapted to supply and demand of goods in the COVID-19 pandemic. So everything in here should be about supply and demand. Okay, so this paragraph's about empty shelves, this paragraph's about supplies. Now, this word circumstances doesn't really go back to supply and demand. So I do think I'm going to substitute that. I'm thankful that we can adapt to changing. Let's see, how do I want to say that? Availability. Of products. Period. Okay, so that's a substitution. Now, we know this conclusion needs some work, so let's try and do it quickly. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic has really changed our lives and routines. People have adapted to remote learning, remote working, and supply and demand changes. I'm thankful that we can adapt to a very stressful situation and still keep learning, working, and keep our families fed. All right, so that kind of goes back to the prompt better. So I am going to get rid of this period. I'm going to remove that period, and I'm going to end on this note because this is going to go right back to our prompt. And that is arms for the conclusion. So guys, I really hope that you will take the time and go through your essay and really pick it apart. I mean, I could have ended on this note right here, but this is better. I'm asking you to please take the time and make your essays better, okay? All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. See you Monday.